Chuck Schumer is now facing pressure not just to listen to Bernie Sanders and endorse Bernie Sanders' chosen next head of the DNC, which he has done, saying that Keith Ellison would be a good pick and joining the chorus of voices that have been saying that, but now also to bring Bernie Sanders himself into the Democratic Senate leadership. Now, we expect that Schumer will be the head, and Dick Durbin, who I never hear anything about aside from when there's a leadership struggle for who's going to be the whip. That's the only time I ever hear his name, but he will maintain that position, which I'm sure he's worked very hard to maintain. And then theoretically, Sanders would be next after that, which is, of course, important. And we want Sanders to have strong leadership positions. That was going to be one of the nice side effects if the Senate went to the Democrats, that he would be in charge of the Senate budgeting committee. And so now that groundswell is starting to build, and more than 24 protesters staged a sit-in outside Schumer's office on Monday, calling on him to step aside for Sanders and Warren. So obviously they want it to go farther than other people are saying. But the idea that Bernie Sanders himself has, I believe, rightfully earned not just a position as an advisor and counsel to the next leadership, but as a part of that leadership makes a ton of sense.
So here's your other alternatives. Perfectly nice people. Debbie Stabenow from Michigan, who you've probably never heard of in your entire life, even if you live in Michigan or you're in her family.
Yeah.
And Patty Murray, fine person. Patty Murray, from time to time on one or two issues I hear being progressive, I'm like, ooh, look at Patty Murray. Okay. But generally speaking, they're both right down the middle. I don't even quite know why they want to be in leadership. I guess it's a prestige thing. Maybe they, I don't want to put bad motives on them, but I've never seen them fight. Yeah. I've never seen them say, we got to go in this direction. Hey, guys, come follow me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is the time to do that.
And by the way, it is a leadership position. And so I can't remember the last time Stabenow, who's a perfectly lovely person, was like, come on, I'm leading, let's go that way, right?
But honestly, in all the time that Debbie Wasserman Schultz was in charge, and obviously that's different, it's not on the Senate side, but as the head of the DNC, other than we need Hillary Clinton to be president, what leadership did she really show?
No, I would actually disagree a little bit with that, because Debbie Wasserman Schultz showed decent leadership in pulling for Hillary Clinton. She was
and that was the one area that I sort of cordoned off that I could see she was actually fighting for that.
But that's her position. Her position is the establishment. Yeah. So she's going to lead towards the establishment. She's going to lead, and she thinks, it's not because she's a bad person, by the way. And I know a lot of people don't like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, but it's not about that. She thinks if you have the money, you'll beat the Republicans. And that's how this game has been played for 40 years. So she thinks, I'm going to go get more money. How am I going to get more money? I'm going to go to the donors. And who's on the side of getting more money? Hillary Clinton. Duh, schmucks. You should go in that direction. Yeah. So I'm going to lead in that direction. At least she was proactive in ways that we didn't like about undermining Bernie Sanders and other candidates, et cetera. So what direction do we want to go? And so if you're the Democratic Party, do you want to keep going milquetoast, which has led to this disaster where you lost an unlosable race to Donald Trump? Yeah. And by the way, you lost it's not just Trump, you lost all over. You lost
every level.
Patrick Murphy, Schumer and Reid and all those guys.
Patrick Murphy is no Patty Murray, I'll tell you that.
So look, a lot of you don't know all the details. Just real quick, Patrick Murphy is establishment Democrat, and they hated Alan Grayson, who was a strong progressive, and they released 18 different negative stories about him. Next thing you know, they put a hatchet in Grayson's back, and they're like, Patrick Murphy, he'll beat Marco Rubio. No, he won't. Establishment versus establishment. They have more money. They have more name recognition. Yeah. He won easily. Evan Bayh, the most corporate Democrat you've ever seen in your life. Oh, he has good name recognition. People in Indiana like the Bayhs. What is this, 1855? And the people in Indiana only know Indiana because they get the local paper and they don't have the internet, they don't have TV.
They run into them at the cafe.
Oh, well, hell, I'll tell you, man. I was about to give him a southern accent in Indiana. Okay, I know the Bayhs. I like those guys. Hey, his grandpappy used to run the grocery store down the street, right? No. Nobody cares. You ran a corporatist guy that everybody hates, and you lost. Your strategy was wrong. So what you need is new leadership leading you towards an actual progressive position. So that's why it's a no contest. Of course you should put Bernie Sanders in. Now,
you're saying as the head of the Democratic Policy and Communications Center.
at a minimum.
Yes. I'm almost a little bit torn in that, like, it does seem like a position that is tailored for exactly what he could do to make the party stronger and more competitive, floor strategy and messaging and all that. But it feels to me like what we were worried would happen, that he'll get something. Just take that. No, it's an influential position. It is.
No, Elizabeth Warren has this vague position in leadership, which no one really quite understands.
I forgot about that,
but that would even it up then. You'd have Schumer and Durbin, the old guard, and you'd have Warren and Sanders. Hey, all of a sudden we got a ball game. So look, Schumer's not a dumb guy. He knows politics. So first thing Schumer did was, hey, I think Keith Ellison for DNC is not a bad idea. And why is he doing that? He's like, let them get that before they come for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So now what we're saying is, well played, Chuck Schumer. Put Bernie Sanders as the number 3 guy so we don't ask for him to be the number 1 guy. So I'm going to ask all of you guys to participate in this.
Yeah.
Now, Schumer's got an office. You could give him a ring. You could tweet at him and say, and by the way, to be super polite and say, Senator Schumer, thank you for backing Keith Ellison as the head of the DNC. And we would appreciate you backing Bernie Sanders for leadership in the Senate.
Maybe the whip.
Okay. Now, no, it's okay. Sanders is fine with the position that we're talking about here. But just put him in leadership. So there's his office number. Be polite. There's his Twitter handle, @SenSchumer, right? And so, again, reward good behavior. He wants to make Keith Ellison the head of the DNC. Great. We got a deal. No problem.
Yeah.
You put Sanders into leadership, then Sanders says he has no problems with Schumer being the minority leader. Great, we have a deal. If you say no to Sanders and you say, no, I'm going to stack leadership with nothing but the old guard, pro-corporate, pro-donor Democrats, then we don't have a deal. Then the messages will be a little different. But for now, be polite and help him make the right decision.
There's so much more content if you're a member of the Young Turks. You get the post games, you get live interviews. I forgot the other things you get, but they're awesome. TYTnetwork.com/join.